Hello, how are you
Hi.
today?
Um, I'm a little anxious today.
A little anxious? Well, that's understandable. It's your first time here in a new place. But my name is Shantae, and I'll be your case manager while you're here.
Yeah,
Today, I'd like to go over
okay.
an intake report assessment with you. It's a standard procedure we use with new clients. It helps me get to know more about you. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
that's fine.
Great. So before we start, I'd like to let you know about confidentiality. What you say in here stays in here unless someone is hurting you or you want to hurt yourself or someone else. Since you've been referred here by your probation officer, um, for individual therapy, group counseling, and monitoring, um, I'll have to share some information with them if that's okay with you.
And I had this cough and sick the whole time. And so I went
I
Yeah,
know
I
this
mean,
is a
I kind
lot,
of don't,
but hmm,
as I said, I kind of don't have a choice.
yeah,
Uh,
but we can make the most of it.
okay.
So, if you don't mind, let's go ahead and start on that assessment. So, when is your date of birth?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, it's through Yahoo. Or
Um,
essentially what it is.
did you say you wanted my date of birth?
Yes, please.
Oh, okay. It'd be like, yeah, it's like uh, April 6th, 1997.
Okay, so that would make you around 25.
Yes.
Okay. And I never like to assume. So, what is your race slash ethnicity?
I am white.
Okay. And your preferred pronouns?
I do go by she, her.
Okay. And what do you feel are the main problems in your life right now?
Well, I mean, the main problem is that I'm here, because of some issues that I have had with the law. And I was found with I was pulled over and I had some that weren't mine. Um, so probation referred me here. And as a term of my probation, I do have to try to engage, and I don't want this to follow me.
Yeah.
So I guess the biggest problem would be the pills and then uh, the problems that I'm having with the law.
Yeah. And you mentioned anxiousness earlier. Is that also a problem you're experiencing?
I mean, I think that kind of goes with the issues I'm having because I don't know what to expect. I've never been in this much trouble before.
Yeah.
Um, I've usually been pretty good about not getting caught, and now I don't know how to handle that.
Yeah. So, what kind of symptoms would you say that you're experiencing with your current anxiety?
That's why we watched a movie last night and I had the TV on 7.
Well, I mean,
What? Yeah.
I have a lot of racing thoughts, just like all the different possibilities of dealing with the probation and the possibilities if I don't fulfill it, and you know, um, I just constantly feel like I'm overwhelmed with all the going on.
Yeah. And so on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest and 10 being the highest, how would you rate the severity of your anxiety right now?
But right now, I'm sitting at about a 9.
Yeah.
I think the only time that it was worse was when I actually got caught the substance.
So why not something like a 10?
I don't know if it's.
Because I'm starting to focus my thoughts a little bit because I'm not like in a situation um where I had the fear of, being taken away in handcuffs right now.
Yeah. And how about your physical symptoms of anxiety? What would you rate that on a scale of 1 to 10?
I think that's 10 because I do feel like the nausea and the feelings of wanting to be sick, um, just
Mhm.
everything. Um, so that and I feel like my heart's racing.
Yeah.
Even though it probably isn't, it feels like it. So yeah, the physical symptoms are really bad.
And how about your emotional symptoms on a scale of 1 to 10?
My emotions are all over the place. So I mean, I guess they would be at a 10 right now because I have multiple feelings of fear and anxiety and um, unhappiness with myself right now. So um, yeah, those are the emotions are all over the place.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a lot to take on, but I appreciate you for being here.
Thank you.
So, do you have a previous history of these symptoms prior to your legal problems, your current legal problems?
Um, yeah, before all of this, I always have these symptoms, and sometimes it seemed like the only way to make them go away was the pills.
Did the medication seem to help or worsen your condition?
Well, it seemed to help, but I guess it's gotten to a point that they say I'm dependent on the medication.
And how long have these symptoms been going on for?
Um, I'd say since I was a kid.
Do you know about what age?
Um, Sometime in high school.
Okay. So around 14 to 18, somewhere in that range.
Yes.
Okay. So do you feel that it has impaired your life in any way?
Um, I mean, a little bit. Um, when I was younger, as much as I wanted to do certain things, it was really difficult because I didn't want to fail.
Yeah.
Um, I didn't want to disappoint people. Um, you know, I always had, like my parents and stuff telling me that I was good, and I was they didn't want me. I was a mistake. I heard that a lot growing up, but it really came to a head when I was a teenager. I had a hard time standing up for myself. Um, so the first time I had tried these, I was at a point of, wanting to fit in, wanting somebody to like me and appreciate me. Um, and I guess it spiraled from there.
Yeah. So the way you started seemed to be from socially.
It started off just when I was with friends, and
Yeah.
we would go. It was like a thing at the end of the week on the weekend, so that didn't interfere with working or um any of that. But eventually it became something that was daily, and then I started needing it to get through the day. So you know, and then eventually I got caught with, they were pills that weren't mine. That's what they had
Yeah.
said. So
And have you ever been a psychiatric inpatient?
mm, not at this point.
Okay.
Um,
And have you ever felt suicidal or homicidal?
no, not homicidal. Um, when I was at, some of the worst, and I guess, they can forget about the depression, with the way my parents treated me and talked about me. You know, there were times when I was a teenager where I didn't feel like I wanted to be here, like I didn't deserve to be here. So, guess my anxiety went back and forth between the anxiety symptoms and there was a depression that went with it.
Yeah. And are you currently feeling suicidal?
No,
Okay. Did you ever attempt to commit suicide?
no, I never made it that far. I did have the thoughts every once in, especially when things got really bad. Um, but I never um got as far as attempting.
Right. So you just thought about it but never tried anything.
Right.
Okay. And have you ever experienced psychosis?
I mean, I guess when I was coming down off the pills, um, the the pills, it was really hard when I was going through withdrawals. So, I mean, I don't remember much of that,
Yeah.
but it was really hard for a while.
And what was your drug of choice?
Um, I think there was some sort of painkills like narcotics. Um, there were some pills that my friends had. Um, I don't remember what they were.
Okay. So when you experienced psychosis, do you know around when that was specifically?
No, I don't.
Okay. So have you ever seen a psychiatrist or a therapist before?
No, it's one of those things like um my parents didn't believe that, mental health was important. That's why they said that and said the things that they did. Um they so yeah, there's no seeing a psychiatrist or anything like that.
Yeah. I understand. So, have you ever been prescribed any psychiatric medications? I know you said that you haven't been to a psychiatrist or anything like that before, but
Not yet. I know I'm still dealing with some of the withdrawal symptoms, so um I was hoping there was some help with somewhere, some kind of medication or something that could help with some of the uh withdrawal symptoms.
okay. And we do offer medication assisted treatment, so that might be an option for you in the future too that we'll consider while you're here with us. So,
Yes.
do you currently take any non-psychiatric medications?
Um, not at this time.
Okay. And do you have any current or past medical conditions or issues?
Um, I was, uh, I had some issues with uh, back pain when I was in my early 20s, like 18, 20, where I went through like their physical therapy and stuff to fix that.
Okay. Did they put you on any pain medication or anything for those back problems? Have you ever been hospitalized?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear part of your question.
Oh, that's okay. I asked, have you ever been hospitalized?
No,
Any history of a head injury?
no.
How about allergies?
Um, I am allergic. I have seasonal allergies, and then I am allergic to certain scented fabric softeners, detergent soaps and stuff. I'm allergic to certain scents.
Yeah. And you mentioned that you've used drugs. Have you ever used alcohol?
I don't like alcohol all that much. I don't like the taste.
Okay. And do you use drugs currently?
I was using
And how much did you use?
I couldn't tell you. It started, small doses, so like one, maybe two pills, and they were smaller pills, but I couldn't tell you what the dosages were.
Okay. And how often did you use?
It was weekends, parties, things like that. But and um it was daily.
Mm, okay. And how old were you when you first used?
22.
Okay. And what was your, and you did this orally?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how long have you used for?
Well, I'm 25 now, so about 3 years.
Okay. And have you ever received any sort of treatment for this?
This is the first time I've had to seek treatment.
Okay. So this is going to be more so a list of yes or no questions.
Okay.
So, do you have a family history of behavior disorders?
If I do, nobody's been diagnosed.
Okay.
I know my parents, once I was 18, I was out, so they didn't, like I said, they told me I was a mistake. I was never good enough. They didn't celebrate anything. Just nothing, they just, and then once I turned 18, it's like, you're out on your own, you're doing everything on your own. So, I don't know if that counts as a mental disorder, but like I said, like I said earlier, my parents didn't really believe in mental health.
Yeah, so you're not sure if there was any history of behavior disorders, mood disorders, anxiety, trauma. Has anyone used in your family before, used substances?
Not that I noticed, but my parents did a lot of stuff behind closed doors, so I don't know what they were doing.
Okay. So would you mind telling me a bit about what it was like for you growing up?
Growing up, I said earlier, you know, my parents had me young, like really young. Um, uh, they didn't want to do much of anything. They didn't care about um how the house was kept or if I had everything that I needed for school or um for anything else. I wasn't allowed to do any extracurriculars because that meant they would have to take me and bring me home. They would I was alone for hours as a young kid. So you know, my parents just didn't seem to care. And when they did decide that they were going to be around and whatnot, all I ever heard was I was a failure to them and I was a mistake and they should have never had me up or they should have awarded me, that kind of thing.
Well, I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm sure that takes a toll on you feeling that way. So, do you have any siblings?
Uh, um, no, I was my parents' only child. They decided they didn't want any more of me. Because they didn't like being parents, so they would they I think my mom had her tubes tied when I was really young. I remember having surgery.
And what is your relationship like with them right now?
I don't talk to them. They, once I left at 18, they don't reach out, and I don't see a reason to do so. They don't want me. So, I don't want to be around them.
And have you ever been married?
No. I haven't. I've had a couple of serious relationships, but never went as far as marriage.
Do you have any children?
No.
And what's your highest level of education?
I have a high school diploma.
Are you currently employed?
No, I lost my job when I got arrested.
Yeah. And how long was your longest job when you did have one?
I worked for a retail store for about 3 years.
Okay. Do you have a history of any military service?
No, I've never been in the military.
Okay. I have some more yes or no questions for you.
Okay.
So, have you ever verbally abused someone?
I mean, my dad and I would get into screaming matches when I was a teenager. So I don't know what you would consider that, but
Okay.
not since I moved out.
And have you ever sexually assaulted or abused someone?
No, I haven't had any inclination.
Okay. And have you ever physically abused someone?
No. While my dad and I were getting into screaming matches, as an adult, I tend to retreat and shut down.
Have you ever been verbally abused?
My parents did. Yeah. Everything they said to me was negative, and then as an adult, one of the serious relationships I had would tell me a lot that I was worthless and that I was lucky that, he stuck around and that kind of thing.
I'm sure that was so difficult.
He never hit me, but made me feel, 2 inches tall a lot.
Have you ever been sexually assaulted or abused?
None of my relationships ever got to that point. I did have a guy that tried to assault me once. I was at a party. When I was in my late teens, and did not go all the way, but he tried.
And how do you cope with that?
I don't think I ever really have. My my coping mechanisms. I don't know if I have any.
And have you ever been physically assaulted or abused?
None of my relationships ever escalated to that point. Physical. They would just, say say, derogatory things about me, but and sometimes even threatened it, but nobody ever went through with it.
And do you feel that you have a support system?
I don't know, because most of my friends are people I can't be in contact with anymore. So um, I can't rely on my parents. I don't have any siblings. I mean, I might be able to reach out to some of my extended family, but I don't know how well that's gonna work. We didn't see them a lot when I was growing up.
And other than your current charges, have you had any other charges throughout your legal history?
No, this is the first time.
Okay. Do you have any problems with your speech? It doesn't appear so, but
N- I mean, when I get nervous, I tend to stutter a little bit,
yeah.
but otherwise, no.
And how about your mood?
Um, I my mood is kind of all over the place, you know, especially over the last couple of years. Um, I wonder if everything's come to a head, or and that's why I've been um trying to, I guess, self-medicate.
And how about your judgment?
Um, I mean, obviously, if I'm here, my judgment's been pretty bad. But um, I don't know.
Have you had any troubling thoughts?
Um,
I don't have a lot of those in the house.
I don't. I mean, other than what we talked about earlier, when I was a teenager,
Right.
um, no, just a little bit.
And how about delusions or hallucinations?
I haven't had too many problems with those. I've not, at least not while I've been off the the pills.
Okay. And any paranoia?
Um, no, it's more anxiety than, I don't think anybody's after me or anything like that.
Okay. And what about your concentration? Are you able to concentrate well?
Um, Not really. My thoughts are all over the place. There's no like direct connection between them, so it makes it very difficult to focus.
Right. And so you mentioned that you haven't experienced any treatment before and that it wasn't something that was very acceptable growing up, and that you're currently experiencing problems with anxiety, but you've had intrusive thoughts in the past as a teenager, and that's around the time when you started using substances, when you would go to parties, and then it became a daily habit. Does that sound about right?
Mhm. Yeah. It's okay.
Well, I greatly appreciate you for showing up and being so open. I know that truly takes a lot of courage, but I will look over your assessment and I will absolutely be here if you have any questions or need anything so we can assess what treatment would work best for you from here.
Yeah. I just don't want to deal with this again.
Absolutely. Does all of that sound good to you?
That sounds like a good thing.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for showing up, Nicole.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.